Let's go.
My shirt says, "Stop making drama, you're not Shakespeare." Get it? 'Cause he was a Renaissance guy, and I'm smart. Please believe me, I'm smart! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm bad at intros, so let's just intro video now. It's been quite a while since I made a video or even worked on a video because I got a job and it just took all my mental energy. So I have done no work, which really bodes well for the future of my channel when I'm in college. Just don't think about it. Anyway, remember when I said this? I want to go to a Renaissance fair, like really, really badly. Well, you've read the title, unless you can't read. I'm sorry, you'll get there. I went to a Renaissance fair a month ago, and I'm only just working on this video now. I'm good at time management. I probably would have posted this video a lot sooner, except I realized, looking back, how boring the footage I took was, and also how little I actually filmed. So I'm just gonna do some narration, because that's the only way I can think to salvage this. Honestly, still feel very weird whipping out my camera in public. I just haven't developed that YouTuber ego yet. Don't worry, it's coming. I wanted to call this video something like causing medieval mayhem at the Renaissance fair, but I really didn't end up causing that much mayhem. I blame it on the panic over the lack of mask wearing. I'm fully vaccinated, but still. Gotta stay safe out there. Woo! I took some footage. I'm gonna talk about that footage. I'm gonna mush them together in Final Cut, and then it's gonna be a video that you can watch. So I'm going to stop talking now and get to the stuff that I actually filmed, so this isn't just me sitting here and talking. Okay, bye, let's start it now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another hip, fun, and funky fresh video. Today, I'm in a car. I'm not driving, because I'm responsible. My mother's driving. She is driving me where? Well, to a Renaissance fair. Yes, because I am just the coolest person ever, and also because I didn't have anyone else to go with. I dragged my mother along to the Renaissance fair with me, but she was also very cool about it. Get you some parents who will put up with your weird nonsense. Somehow, amidst the pandemic, there is a Renaissance fair that is running, and so we are going. We picked kind of a bad day to go to the Renaissance fair because it was very hot and very bright, and there was a lot of just standing around in the sun. But nevertheless, I wore a long-sleeve polyester dress, and I was just uncomfortably sweaty the whole time. I don't like the heat. I like wearing sweaters. We're 10 minutes away. I'm not in costume yet, but I will be. There's my costume. This is gonna be an interesting video. Once we were inside the fair, we both showed off our splendorous outfits. Here's the fit. I've got a sword. I'm not good at capturing myself, so here's a picture. Lovely mother's also here. She has a costume. It's blue. I'm a good sport. She is. She puts up with my craziness. And then, without any real plan of how we were going to conduct our day, we just sort of started walking around and looking at all the merchants peddling their wares. My mother was briefly entranced by a large display of spices, but thankfully I was able to save her. Also, you have a mask that matches your dress.
Thank you.
They sent her a matching mask, and I didn't get one, and I'm bitter. There were quite a few tempting objects to be seen, including foam swords, but having purchased a much cooler foam sword ahead of time, I was all set. Also a gun, for some reason. I guess, you know, if you're gonna dress up the way you want to. However, we did not purchase any of these things. Instead, I was on a hunt for a cold beverage. Fortunately, the fair came equipped with the greatest liquid known to man. An iced chai latte. I took this thrilling panoramic shot of nothing going on while I was waiting. Just out of frame, the people around me all looking horrified that they might be on camera. Then the two of us found solace in a shaded tent and took to our nourishment. That's good. I got Elixir of the Gods. A chai latte, because I am a basic wench. My mother got some grape leaves, which I did not eat, because gross, and also a bag of almonds that she smuggled in herself. I say smuggled in. They didn't check our bags or say that we couldn't bring in food, so she's fine this time. Spare her the criminal execution. I have a feeling I'm gonna get sunburned today, no matter what I do. was also super windy. It's not very interesting information, but that was the most compelling thing that happened in this clip, other than me downing my chai latte in less than 5 minutes. Well, we sat in the shade, we made our plan of attack.
I think we should, there's a lot of stuff. Go to some shows, hit up some booths, do some things.
There were several activities to do, such as archery, a strength test, a whole lot of just looking at things, and something called the insult zone, which included a table with tomatoes, but more on that later.
I asked for a straw, but I did not use it.
Keep it for later.
Yes, so that I may joust. Straw joust. A Strauss!
With our sustenance consumed, we set back out into the fair.
Oh, I'm so sweaty already.
There were several stalls that we looked at, including one with a very cute dog, but I didn't film any of it because social anxiety. One thing I did film was this group of pretty musical singing ladies that we passed. They were all very talented and I love them all. Do you get the title now? Because it's like a double meaning of the word queer, because you got like queer as in strange, but queer as in also gay. It's wordplay. I'm basically Shakespeare. Shakespeare! Ah! That was planned. I also decided to give them money because I am a simp. Am I using that word right? Am I going to get banned now? Not 15 minutes later, we decided to get more food. What can I say? I like food. I'm not like other girls. I consume organic matter and convert it into energy in my body. Also, both of the ladies working the counter were wearing the same dress that my mom bought from Amazon. It was cool, but I did feel a little left out. They didn't have my size, okay? The lighting just changed so dramatically. We purchased a fair food classic, a burger and fries, which were actually quite good.
Now, if this were the real Renaissance, this would be squirrel meat.
Almost certainly.
My mother also took this opportunity to spit some facts about turkeys in Renaissance England.
Interestingly, or not,
Yes.
in Renaissance Britain they would not have had turkey legs. No turkey in Britain in those days, so the whole turkey leg thing, a fallacy.
Debunked.
Debunked. You're welcome.
Also, potatoes.
The fries are good, though. And they're made of blighty potatoes. Now, could they eat the blighty potatoes?
Well,
And they just didn't deliver any nutrients? Here's better.
here's where I cobble together some vague recollections of history.
Perfect.
I believe that during the potato blight,
Yes.
had they known it, the potatoes were actually edible if they had taken off the top layer of the blight. But they didn't know that, because the top layer
Foolish
was
Irish farmers.
silly.
She's very knowledgeable. That wasn't sarcastic. She is! It was also at this moment that another group of pretty singing ladies came by, incidentally at the same time that I inhaled ketchup and started choking.
I inhaled ketchup.
I'm real smooth.
Mary a soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to the sky.
I'm still gay.
Then, all of a sudden, we were under siege by a very slow-moving parade. There were people hula hooping, playing instruments, juggling, riding horses, and the whole thing was brought up by whoever was playing the queen of the fair that day.
Yas, queen.
Not a very long parade, but enjoyable nonetheless. With our second round of sustenance consumed, we once more sallied forth to explore. There was a giant Jenga tower randomly set up in the middle of the booths, which, after a little struggle, my mother was able to stack? Is that the proper verb? What is the Jenga verb? What is the Jenga verb?
Yes.
I did not partake in the game of Jenga. One, because it didn't even occur to me that I should. And two, I am notoriously terrible at Jenga because I have very shaky hands. So many Jenga towers have fallen. And all because of me. May they rest in peace as... There was an area of the fair called the Knights Encampment.
Do not.
Which is where the people who worked at the fair and also participated in live armored combat. There was a guy who talked to us about helmets for like 10 minutes. Anyway, this is where they stayed overnight. I guess I know of a career path in case other things in my life don't pan out. Or if they do, I'm a dork. Within this area was a collection of what looked like the most uncomfortable chairs imaginable, or just like one of those chairs you'd see in a rich person's house that clearly is not functional, but they actually weren't too bad. I made an offhanded joke about getting out of one of said chairs.
Just log roll off the side.
And because I'm a lady of my goddamn word, you know that I had to log roll off one of those motherfuckers. Wow, that was aggressive.
This guy has had too much to drink. Look at him. He's a mess.
I also found these fantastic knitted mushrooms that I really wanted to buy, but I didn't because I'm bad with money and also a coward. I don't know. I'm so sorry I didn't come back for you, my loves. From there, it was time for the main event, the joust! To be honest, we had no idea what we were going to see, and also I did not know what or how to film, so I'm just going to explain the footage that I took. The stars of this joust were 3 noble knights: the blue and yellow knight, Lady Leary, the black and red knight, Lord Morgan, and the weenie baby bitch boy, Prince Edward.
Little bitch boy.
I don't really know why we hate him. Something about him being the son of the fair queen and then being entitled and showing up to the joust late. We sat in the section that was supposed to cheer for Lord Morgan, but I said f that because hot lady knights deserve my praise more than anyone else does. Is the gay thing getting annoying yet? I bet it is! Regardless, it was time for the events to begin. It started with a classic round of hit the thing with a big stick and then hit a smaller thing also with your stick. I would tell you how each contestant fared, but I had no idea how things were being scored in the moment, and I also only took footage of the Lady Knight for the first 2 rounds. And it was a month ago! Then it was time for knock down 2 small things and then stab a bale of hay with a picture of a boar on it. I think the Lady Knight did very well, but honestly I don't know. At this point, and I only know this because I said it out loud, the knights were tied.
The knights tied in the last round.
Thus, it was time for the even longer sticks to come out, and for the knights to play a fun game of put stick through ring. Lady Leary got 2.
Yay!
Lord Morgan also got 2, and Edward only got 1 because he sucks.
Little bitch boy.
Again, basically unjustified prejudice, but it's fun to have a joust with a narrative. And then, for some reason, they brought out a bunch of celery and just stuck it on a post.
VeggieTales got dark.
Apparently it was time for produce sacrifice because the knights hit a bunch of apples off more sticks and then violently massacred the celery. I think I forgot to film the other 2, so just assume their scores were roughly comparable. The big sticks returned, this time for a game of put stick through bigger rings, in which all 3 knights got 3 out of 4 rings, but none of them got the last one.
He's a cursed squire. He's cursed.
From there, things moved swiftly into the next round of ring catch, this time with moving targets, which doesn't even seem that fair because they were throwing them at different heights. But anyway, all that matters is Lady Leary got 2.
Yay!
Lord Morgan got 1 and then threw a fit.
1!
And Edward miraculously got 4.
We don't like him here.
Pure luck, little bitch boy.
Little bitch boy.
Then they did one more round in which Lord Morgan got none of them.
Oh man. I got really blows.
And Lady Leary and Prince Edward tied somehow. Now, I thought this meant that we would move on to the actual jousting portion, but instead they just put a cucumber on a post, and the knights each got a turn to hack at it with a sword.
We're sacrificing men here.
Feminism? Unclear what the objective was, since Lady Leary cut the thing in half, and then there was much ado over whether the tiny piece that Lord Morgan cut off counted, so I think they were trying to cut off as little as possible, and then Edward didn't even hit it, so who knows. Then at long last, it was time for the actual joust.
I want murder.
The hot knight Lady Leary versus the spoiled brat Prince Edward.
You're probably sick of this.
Each of them was given a shield and a wooden lance, and then they would charge towards each other and aim for the other one's shield. I think hitting the shield counts for some kind of points, but the winner is whoever is first to break their lance. After 3 brutal rounds, somehow both of their lances broke at the same time. Which I didn't realize, and I thought my lady knight won. Oopsie. My mother insisted that they swap the lances out for pre-broken ones so they would both win in the last round, and you know what? She was right. There was some call to return for another joust later in the day, but that did nothing to satisfy my need to see someone die
Immediately.
Unsatisfied by the lack of disembowelment, I decided to take my anger out on the archery range. I figured I wouldn't have too much of a difficult time, given that I used to do archery when I was younger and I'm basically Merida from Brave, but boy was I wrong! By a goth teen, which was humiliating to say the least. But still, I was determined to get at least one shot. And when all hope seemed to be lost, I made one.
Yes! Good job!
From there, I was in the zone. And by that I mean, I got like 2 more and a couple that were sort of close. Things were starting to get very hot and sweaty. So much so that my mother went and changed out of her Renaissance garb and back into normal clothes. I booed her in the moment. But I was probably just salty that I had to keep wearing long sleeves. Hey, remember that tomato booth I mentioned earlier? Well, we decided to pay them a visit. I was under the impression that we got to be in the stocks and have tomatoes thrown at us, but sadly that was not the case. Something about insurance and liability and blah blah blah, responsible legal adult things is fine. Needless to say, we were both very disappointed. So to make up for it, are you satisfied? If you're wondering why my hair is completely different in that clip, it's because I also filmed it a month ago. I'm good at getting stuff done! Instead, we had to pitifully throw tomatoes at the carny guy that was running it, and we were not very good. You also can't even see what we're hitting because I didn't set up the camera right, but trust me, we weren't doing well. Also, while we were throwing our tomatoes, a huge gust of wind came by and knocked my phone off the table, and then a very creepy man came and picked up my phone while still smoking his cigarette. I was convinced he was going to steal my phone, but thankfully he gave it back.
Thank you.
I think he was also watching us as we left the fair. Yay, being out in public. There was only one thing left to do on our list, thankfully, because we were both fading, and that was the strength test. I like to think of myself as having a fair amount of arm strength, but apparently not by this game standards.
Oh yeah, Nave. Oh, postural. This is insulting. Postural.
Resigned to being a mere pustule, I decided to redeem myself with the tiny strength test.
I get the little weenie one. I'm a weenie. Oh yeah.
I guess I am now the little bitch boy.
Little bitch boy.
And with that, our time at the Ren Fair was drawing to a close. I also turned on my light because it's getting dark, and now my room looks like an orange. We also stopped by a jewelry booth before we left, and I bought a pair of earrings because of FOMO, I guess. What earrings did I buy, you may be asking? Well, you rube! They're the ones you've been looking at this whole time! What? We got the little theater masks. One happy guy and one sad guy. Because I'm predictable as hell. I also shot an outro in my car, but at that point my brain had turned to mush and I was just very sweaty, so you don't need to see that. So that was my time at the Ren Fair. I don't know why I'm doing jazz hands, but I am. Ren Fair! I actually had a pretty good time despite the heat and no masks and other things, but it was a good time. The only things I feel like I really missed out on were acting like a complete fool in public, because despite being insane, I'm also socially awkward, and dancing to some good Renaissance music. So... for one video. Alrighty then, friends. I think that'll do it for this video. I am kneeling because my chair has been usurped by a cat. Do you have anything to say for yourself, ma'am? Typical. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna edit this video, and I'm gonna post it for the first time in like 2 months. I make no guarantees that my next video will be up in a timely fashion. I'll do my best. Thank you all so much for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that wonderful stuff. And yeah, I was gonna do it. I don't know what else I have to say. So, shim sham, slammity ding dong, I guess. Bye!